So in one of my first videos, I said, I don't get imposter syndrome. And then after that, I had a bunch of messages from people who were like, how? Tell me how you don't get imposter syndrome. And I honestly didn't know. So I've thought about it. And now I want to tell you the 3 reasons that I don't get imposter syndrome and why you shouldn't either. So the first reason is that I know who I am. I know who I am. And I'm saying it like that because I heard Oprah Winfrey say it in the exact same way. And she was delivering a commencement speech and she was talking specifically about imposter syndrome. And in the speech, she said, do not let the world make an imposter out of you. And she was saying that she never gets imposter syndrome because she knows who she is. I know who I am. And I think if you know who you are, you know what you're good at, you know your strengths, you know what you're capable of, there is no room that you could be in where you would think, oh, I'm like a lesser person, I'm a lesser being. I feel like the more you know this, the less you feel inferior or out of your depth or like any kind of imposter. It's not natural to feel like that. There's no evolutionary benefit to not feeling like you're up to the standard. So then why would you? There's no reason to feel it. It doesn't make logical sense to feel like an imposter. It's just a trendy thing to say. People mistake it with being humble, but it's not. You can be a humble person and still not feel like an imposter. You cannot be arrogant. You cannot show off about who you are and your abilities, but you can still have like a quiet confidence in knowing what you're capable of. It's so different. I want to separate it out. That Oprah commencement speech, that do not let the world make an imposter out of you, really helped me. The second reason I don't get imposter syndrome is that I used to work with this lady called Lynn. So I worked with her in Sheffield, which is a city in the north of England. She was very, very northern. And one of her favourite sentences was, the Queen still sits on the toilet. She used to say that all the time. Lynn was not impressed by anyone. So anytime there was some story about someone doing a really good job at something, Lynn didn't care. She would literally just say, the Queen still sits on the toilet. And what she means is that everyone poops. Everyone does regular stuff. You should never feel like anyone is above you or superhuman in any way, because we're just all human. We're just all the same. It doesn't matter what room I'm in. It doesn't matter what room you're in. Everyone there goes to the toilet. The Queen sits on the toilet. So there's never a reason to feel like you don't belong anywhere, because we're all just the same. The third reason I don't get imposter syndrome is because I only ever teach what I know. I only ever really talk about what I know. Like if someone asked me for advice on something I hadn't done, I'd be like, I have no idea. Go ask someone else, because they'll tell you, because they know. And even if someone's asking me for advice on something that I have specifically done, I would still be telling them about it while also saying, but this is what worked for me. It might not work for you. Like it might be different now. Things might have changed. It might not be the same at all. So I might not even know. But because I'm only ever speaking from my lived experience, that doesn't come with any imposter syndrome, because I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. I think if someone was on stage feeling like, oh, I don't really know my topic, I'm winging it, I'm making it up as I go along and I'm trying to impress these people, then yeah, you probably would feel like an imposter, because if you're unresearched or if you're talking about stuff that you don't really know, then yeah, I get it. But none of us are really doing that. You're probably speaking on stage, or if you've been invited to a room full of people to share your wisdom, it's probably because you have wisdom, because you know your stuff. Even if you don't know everything there is to know on one topic, you might know one area of it really well. You might know how you applied it to your specific type of business. It doesn't need to always be breadth of knowledge. It can be depth of knowledge. And I feel like being a practitioner and practicing what you preach will just stave off any kind of imposter syndrome, probably forever. Overall, if you're in rooms with people who you think are really impressive, you have to trust that the reason that you're there is because you deserve to be there and you've earned the right to be there, and you don't have anything to prove. You're a person, they're people, you're all just people, and it's no big deal. There's no one that should be able to make you feel smaller in any way. No one's better than you. It doesn't work like that. I think it's about letting go of this bullshit imposter syndrome that we just feel like we should be feeling, and letting ourselves be inspired by people but never intimidated by them. Always showing up as an equal, showing up with the full confidence that we know our stuff, we know what we're doing, we're only ever speaking from experience, and we are not imposters. You are not an imposter. I'm not an imposter. You never have been, and you never will. Welcome to another day of showing up every single day on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed this video. Drop me a comment below on why you don't feel like you ever have imposter syndrome. Would love to hear hear your thoughts as well so that we can all learn from each other. Definitely hit subscribe if you haven't already so that you see all new videos, and I will catch you in the next one.